Go.
Okay, good evening, Marva Baisai. Good evening to everybody who's on the Zera Shimshon group. Good evening to those who are in Torah anytime. Tonight's Zera Shimshon shir is sponsored by Rabbi Yitzi and his Rebbetzin Pariser in the yard set of Yitzi's father and grandfather, Rabbi Baruch ben Rabbi Yitzchak Mechel Olav Shalom. That's his tate. When the Zayda is Rabbi Yitzchak Mechel ben Rabbi Pesach Shimon. Their yard sites were today. The Neshama should have an aliyah, and so it's chus that we, Berger Hashem, have a chance to learn Zera Shimshon in their memory. And also, Parnasa Berevach Ad Belidai to Yosef ben Chana Esther Roiza, Meir ben Miriam, Shlomi Yosef ben Rachel, Chaim Hillel ben Karen Sivia, Elazar ben Matel, and Yitzchak Mechuel ben Baruch. Also, I want to give a big mazel tov to one of our members, David. Reb David, who's making a vert tonight. So he can't be here. The one that sits over there. Yana Reb David. Reb David Metzger. He would be here if not for the fact that his daughter it just got engaged, Baruch Hashem. So Hartzig Mazel Tov, and after the shir, after the Maral shir, I plan on going there to wish him Mazel Tov personally. So, yeah. Yeah, you shall zeiche sein besum, the zivig zolele yofa sein besus Hashem Yisbarach. And by all of us who need zivugim for our kinderlach. Okay, amen. Zera Shimshon Tuf Yud Zayin, Parshas Sisa, which is letter Chav Vav. If you have your Zera Shimshon's 26, letter Chav Vav. Bereishis Shemais, that's correct. That's correct. Bereshis Shemais, letter, page, Tav Yud Zayin, and letter Chav Vav in Parshas Sisa. This week's, one of the things that the Torah speaks about this week is Luchais. Luchais Rishonais, Luchais Shniyais. That's what we're going to be speaking about tonight, Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, both in this shir and the Maharal shir. Says the Zera Shimshon. The Gemara Nedarim Dafayin Aleph. Amar Reb Chama Bar Chanina. Loi he'esher Moshe. Moshe's wealth. Shteit in Chazal, Moshe Rabbeinu had alamailas. Moshe Rabbeinu, it says, if we can get just a sitter with Perkei Ovis. If anybody can just get a regular sitter. Yasher Kayach. Yasher Kayach. Ben Zoyma Aimer Ezeu Chacham Alevin Mikol Adam. Ezeu Gibor Akavish Es Yitzray. Ezeu Asher Sameach Bechelkai. These milas, Chacham, Gibor, Asher, these three milas, Moshe Rabbeinu had all of them. Moshe Rabbeinu, the Ruach Chaim, Rabbi Chaim Volozhiner, says over here on Perkei Avos, Moshe was Dochabein HaChacham. He was the one who brought down Torah to Klal Yisrael. He was a Gibor. He built the Mishkan single-handedly, all of it himself. He killed Oig Melech HaBashan single-handedly. He was a Gibor, and he was wealthy. When and where did Moshe Rabbeinu get his money? Says the Gemara in Nedarim. It says, Psal Amar Rav Chama Bar Chanina. This is a quote from your Zera Shimshon. It was the psoiles, the shearings, what was left over from the luchais, from them, that, imagine what Geniza could do if you had a piece of the luchais. Now those were avonim, it was anyway avonim yikarais. Aber to purchase a piece of the luchais, Moshe Rabbeinu was told by the Eibishter, Psal lecha. All the psoiles belongs to you. Taseh mashatarotze. What you want. Moshe Rabbeinu became a groise oisher. He became very wealthy. Why, asks the Zera Shimshon, of all places, did the Eibishter want that Moshe Rabbeinu should dafka become wealthy from the cuttings, the shirayim, these psilis of the luchas? What's the message there for us? Why here? It's such a big message, Rabbi Say. Soon you're going to see how it's neged to every single one of us.
That he destroyed the luchos, which was the greatest act of his life, so the source of his wealth comes from.
The Zera Shimshon's actually going to ask that should be a reason he shouldn't get. We're going to soon see that. But you're not far off, but you're Veshem Balzen. Okay, Nachamo. Lo ye'esher Moshe elam ipsoiloson shel luchos. Shenemar, psol lecha, psoloson yeshalcha. That's the Gemara. Tzorich and one kasha. Why dafka this way? The Zera Shimshon is going to give a couple of terutzim. You want to become wealthy? Listen to what the Zera Shimshon says. This is the Eitzah. V'yesh loymar shehoyel shemoisha hoya misasek b'tzorchei tzibur. Moshe was busy taking care of Klal Yisrael. Kedaminim b'medrash. Al pasuk vayar Hashem kisar liros. The Eibishter saw that Moshe turned sar liros, sar me'oisakav kedei lehisasek b'tzorchei Yisrael. He turned away from his own asakim, from his own arbit, from his own geschäften, to take care of Klal Yisrael. What episode in Moshe Rabbeinu's life are we referring to? So let's go to the Medrash itself, and let's see the Medrash inside, to get the complete picture of what the Medrash, what the Zera Shimshon is referring to. Vayihi Perek Aleph Pasuk Chav Zayin V'hi B'yamim Hahem. Vayigdal Moshe, says the Medrash Rabbah. How old was Moshe Rabbeinu when, being brought up in the palace, he left the palace to see his brethren? Ben Esrim Shana Haya Moshe Ba'isa Shah. According to one pshat, he was a 20-year-old. V'yeshayim ben Arboyim. Some say he was 40. Vayigdal Moshe v'chi ein hakol gedolim ela loymelacha shegadal shaloi kederech ha'olam. He grew like in a way that was bigger than other people. Moshe Rabbeinu, it seemed, grew very. When he was born, the house filled with light. His neshama was a special neshama. According to one pshat, his guf was, Rashi brings down, 10 amos. Right? That's how big he was. So Moshe Rabbeinu vayetze el echav. Shtei yitzias yotzo oisei tzadik. 2 times he went out. Because von HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zu achar zu. Each time vayetze. Vayetze b'yom hasheni. Right? It says vayetze. Vayetze b'yom hasheni arishtayim. Vayar b'siv loisam. What does it mean? Vayar b'siv loisam. Ro b'siv loisam uboiche. Ro'a b'sivloisam et angefangen weinen. He started to cry. Chavali aleichem. He was broken from the way the Jews were being mistreated. You have to appreciate Yocheved. She had him for a couple of years. But what she did with Moshe Rabbeinu was to, a word in Yiddish, I don't have a good word in English, but we'll use the Yiddish word and then you'll all help me. It's called angepflanzen. Angepflanzen, yes? Implanted, embedded. When she was, wait, what do you want? I was brought up in LA. You think I know how to speak English? Angepflanzen.
I just like when you speak Yiddish.
She had so embedded in Moshe Rabbeinu b'tor yeled katan. She gave him over all the values. Shebiyoyim Harishon, Moshe Rabbeinu goes out and he's looking for his brothers and he sees, he's sitting in the palace, Oisher v'chovayd, and he turns his back to all of that. Vayar b'sivloisam. Miyiten musi aleichem. The lashon of the Medrash is musi is a lashon of misa. He's willing to go ahead and die for them. She'ein lecha melacha koshek meleches atit v'inoisen kseifa v'mesaya lekol echad ve'echad mehem. He literally got his hands dirty and went and helped people schlep their packages. Says the Gemara, Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ato hinachta asokecha v'halachta liris b'tzarin shel Yisrael. You were in the palace. You were with Paroi. Lo chaser lecha shum davar. You're not missing anything. That you gave up to go and take care of the Jews. Liris b'tzarin v'nihagta behen minig achim. Ani meiniach esel yoinim v'tachtoinim ve'adaber imoch. There is nothing more important to me. Meiniach el yoinim v'tachtoinim u'medaber imoch. I'm going to speak to you. There's nobody else in the world I'd rather talk to than you, Moshe Rabbeinu. You are going to be my biggest confidant. Peh el peh adaber boy. You know why? Because he was the biggest learner? No. Because he had the biggest heart. Because he cared about Yidden from the palace. And the next day, on that day, he saw a Mitzri hitting a Jew. What did he do? He killed the Mitzri. For what? For a Yid. So he risked everything. Everything. And Farvos, for Yidden. Who are you? He's dressed like a Mitzri, but he's a Yid in his heart. Yocheved, his mother, did an amazing job. Hahodechsiv, Vayar Hashem kisor lirais. When Moshe was at the sneh, and it says Vayar Hashem kisor lirais, Pashut pshat is he turned to see the fire of the sneh. The Medrash learns Vayar Hashem kisor lirais 60 years earlier, when he was a 20-year-old or a 40-year-old. Vayar Hashem kisor. Back then, he had turned liros. Ra HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe shesar ma'asokav liros b'sivloisam. He was the person who cared about the Yidden. You care about the Yidden so much that you're willing to leave the palace and you're willing to go be Yar b'sivloisam. There's nobody better in the world to take them out of Egypt than you. You earned your stripes. You earned to be the person to take them out, because when they were b'sivloisam, you were helping them to ease their burden. I will let you, machmazeh, be the person who will take them out. And because of that, you're never going to have to work a day again in your life. You took care of Klal Yisrael. You are going to be rich, and you will not have to worry about their asakim. I read it inside. Shahoyel shemoisha misasek betzorchei tzibur garminim b'medrash. Since he was Isaac, al pasuk vayar Hashem kisar liros shesar ma'asokov kedei lesasek betzorchei Yisrael v'chein matzinu shekol yamav hayem mitupel im Yisrael. As Alamol, he was always busy. Klal Yisrael needs something. There's no such a thing that a Yid needs something and I'm too busy for it. This sheds light, Rabbi Sai, on a story that up until now was hard to understand. What was Moshe Rabbeinu thinking? Sheyoishev lemishpat esa'am min habayker v'ad erev. His shver, Yisrael says, Navoil Tiboil, Moshe Rabbeinu loy toiv ma'ashato oiseh, sinish good. You have to do it a different way. Why don't you go ahead and set up a court system so you should have from 10 people, from 50 people, set up a system. So what's Moshe Rabbeinu thinking? The Torah says, yeah, he's smart, but his heart, and he cares about Klal Yisrael so much that he wants to take care of every single one. Every person's problem is his problem. So therefore, Zog, that you would say about Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz. Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz, Rosh Yeshiva of the Mir. He had such a heart. When he would go to a shiva, and he would see people broken, he would cry like the people who were sitting Shiva. He had such a heart, such a hava for Yidden, that he had said that their tzara, he took it personal. The mishpacha didn't want him to go, because every time he would go, he'd get bent out of shape. But it's too schwer. That's Moshe Rabbeinu left the palace. V'chein b'chet ha'egel. When Klal Yisrael sinned in the egel, Yoshev Bahar, Gimel Pamim, Arboim Yoim, Barboim Lailos, Umelechtoi Emasai Nasis. What are you going to make Parnusa, Moshe Rabbeinu? Medavto Chesen. Mishum Hachi Rotza Kodesh Baruch Hu Sheyis Asher. You're being Isaac B'tzorchet Tzibur, you're taking care of people, you're going to be Aser Dafka B'derech Zeh Dafka, Kedei Sheyedu HaKoil. That everybody should know. Shebola ha'oisha b'shvil she'is asik b'tzorchet tzibur. He became wealthy not because of his Torah. He became wealthy because of his asik with Klal Yisrael. All the time busy. I'm going up to the mountain, gonna daven for them 40 days and 40 nights till the Eibishter finally says, Beseder, you got it. Then come up another 40 days and 40 nights. Then he comes down, Psol lecha shnei luchos avonim. You know why you're going to get it? Because you were Isaac, you were Meiser Nefesh for Klal Yisrael. Mecheni no misifrecha. Wipe me out, but let Klal Yisrael continue. There's nothing he's not willing to do for the Yidden. So from this Isaac, being a Baal Chesed, running after Klal Yisrael to help them, that is the source, that's the reason he became an Oisher. If he would have become wealthy in other ways, we could have said, maybe it's because he's a schus of Torah and the brachas of Torah. Since the fact that, as we're about to see now, he became wealthy, not from the first luchos. He became wealthy when he broke the Torah. And he had to get a new Torah. That's when he became wealthy. Dafka then. So you shouldn't think for a second it had to do with the Torah. Nein. V'kol shekein darminim b'medrash. Tana d'Ebeliyo. Kishenishtabru haluchais. When the luchos were broken, nigzer gezera al Yisrael sheyimdu Torah metoich atchak metoich tzar metoich ani. Let's pull out this Tana d'Ebeliyo. We'll see it inside, in a venig. Ha'atufim berov. Amru chachamim. Kisheyorad Moshe mahar Sinai. When he came down from the mountain, he saw sirchan means smelly, masriach, right? Se schmeckt, se stinkt. He saw the stink that Moshe, that Klal Yisrael made. He saw the egel. Nistakel beluchos. He looked at the luchos. Ro es ksavoson sheparach me'eleihem. He saw the letters magically, b'nes, flying out of the stones. The Torah didn't want to go down to these people anymore.
The letters were flying.
Right? Ro es ksavon sheparach me'aleihen. When Moshe Rabbeinu saw that, what do I need it for? What do I need it for? Miyad shvaron Moshe tachas ha'ar. He broke them right away. And at that point in time, Moshe himself couldn't say anything. When Klal Yisrael, the Eibishter knew Moshe Rabbeinu, he would say, Hanichali, leave me alone, and Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't listen, and Moshe Rabbeinu grabs Kaviyachal the Eibishter, and Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't give up, and he's relentless until he's Taka Matzliach, and the Rebbeinu Shem says, Solachti Kidvarecha, and the Rebbeinu Shem gives Klal Yisrael a second chance. Aber, Sheyilmedu Torah metoich Hatzar, metoich Shibud, metoich Tiltul, mitoich teirav, mitoich atchak, umitoich she'ein lehem mizaynos. Learning Torah is not going to be like it was on the original Madrega, where Klal Yisrael would learn Torah and they wouldn't forget anything. We'll soon see a shtikla from the Zera Shimshon in a minute on this Tana de Be'eliyo. But I know, says the Eibishter, it's not easy. And I know when you learn it, you forget it. And you have to learn it again. And I know that sometimes you don't have parnasa, and it's hard to learn Torah, and trotztem, you still learn it anyway. And I know that sometimes a person doesn't feel good, and he has to come and he doesn't miss a share, and he makes it no matter what. You should know you're going to get schar. When? Osir HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'shalem scharen li'emois ben David. When Mashiach is going to come, kaful umechupal. Double, kaful umechupal. Od pam ve'od pam. Double and double. In other words, because you could have had it easy and you had it hard, and then you had it hard and you did it anyway. Whenever it's hard to learn, se schwer, se geit nicht daran in Kopf, and you try and you do the best you can, sollst du wissen, the schar you're going to get for that is kaful mechupal. This is Eliyahu Hanavi writing this. In Tana De'Be'el Shnami, Hina Hashem lakim bechozik yavoi, v'hine schar itoi. Now, says the Zera Shimshon, if it's true that Moshe Rabbeinu caused Klal Yisrael to now have to learn B'doichak, he didn't make Torah easy, he made Torah harder. What's that? For them. Right, but for him, now he should become wealthy. Had nothing to do with Torah. Moshe was wealthy, phenomenally wealthy, but nothing to do with his shaykhs as Moshe Rabbeinu, the Rebbe of Klal Yisrael, but as Moshe Rabbeinu, the person who took care of his Talmidim. I have to tell you a story. The Rebbe Shalom was mezaka me for many years. I had a yeshiva. I've been a Rebbe in Bachram for many, many years. I have a few star Talmidim. Grace Talmidei Chachamim, Magidei Shiurim. I have some Talmidim Baruch Hashem today are Rosh Hashivas. One Talmid once bumped into my chassan a few years later. And this Talmid, he didn't have so much money. And he was a chassan. He didn't have a suit. He didn't have a hat. So I said to him, we'll call him Yankel. I said, Yankel, let's go. We went to the hat box, we bought a suit and we bought a tie. We bought a hat. Years later, he says, Rebbe, I don't remember the Ketzaises, I don't remember the Kiva Egers, and I don't remember the Nesivises, but I remember that when I was a chassan, you bought me a hat and a suit. That I remember. What we do for the Talmidim in taking care of them, or for another Yid in taking care of them, that lasts for them, with them forever. He's a big Talmud Chacham. He's a Magid Shir. Maybe something he remembers or learning, but that's not what got to him. What gets to another Yid is you're taking care of the Men Shalei, and you see, Vayar b'siv lo yisam. He saw, and we'll say it's Mida Keneged Mida, because he had all the riches in the palace. Gahat Kol Tuv, and he gave that up. You're not giving up nothing, Moshe Rabbeinu. You're not giving up nothing. You're going to get back Kefil Kiflayim. You gave up what would have been parais that gave to you. Instead, you got it legitimi. You got it legitimately. Magia lecha. Why? Because you took care of your brothers. Go back for 2 minutes to page Tuf Yud, Tuf Vav, where he quotes the Tana de Be'eliyo that we just mentioned, to see an insight in a moment, the difference between Luchas Rishonis and Luchas Shnias. Tana the top of the page, first column. Tana de Be'eliyo, Keshenishtabar Luchas Nigzel Yisrael. This is the quote of this Tana de Be'eliyo, better than he mentioned over there. Ubishvil oisas tzar, shemitzarin HaKadosh Baruch Hu ois l'shalem schar l'moisa Mashiach kafel u'mechupal. You see it over there? Shenemri hina Hashem lakim b'chozik yovav hina schara itay. Hashaychus liyesh la'elon yanim zeh zeh yuvim maded ksuv b'medrash. And the pasuk v'safti ala luchais. Why is it that the first set of luchais people were able to learn and they wouldn't forget, and the second set of luchais has to be so difficult? What's the pshat in that medrash? Says the Zera Shimshon over here. They once asked Rabbi Chaim ben Zakkai, why was the luchas rishonis from the Eibishter, and why was Moshe Rabbeinu makpeh? Why did Hashem say to Moshe Rabbeinu, you make the second set of luchas? Manishtana. What's the difference between the two? Marshal Rashi quotes this. A man had a wife, and he got upset at her. She didn't act beseder, and he got rid of her. Afterwards, the go-between, the Sarser, said, take her back. Ich will nicht. He finally convinced her to take her back. So you know what the king says? Fine. Get me a paper, get me a pen, write up the contract, and I'll do it. You want it so badly, you do it. That's the Eibishter first married Klal Yisrael, gave us a ksuba, gave us the Torah, gave us the luchas. Afterwards, Moshe Rabbeinu broke it, and Moshe Rabbeinu had ois gepiled that the Rebbeinu Shalom should take us again. Peseder, now you write it. Says the Zera Shimshon. L'chein, harishonos hayamaisa shamayim. The first ones which came from the Eibishter came from Shamayim. The way the Eibishter created the world, he didn't have to sweat. So too these luchas came down, and Klal Yisrael would have been on that madrega. However, shniyos, that Moshe had ois gekritzt. You did this. You intervened. The whole maisi day Adam, when you do something, ba b'toirach, b'yagia, ki Adam la'amal yumal. That's what we were created for, to work hard in this world. The way Moshe had to work hard to get the Eibishter to be maskim, to take us back. So the whole kesher is a kesher of yigia. It's a kesher of hard work to connect. Now the Eibishter says, you really want me? You really want my Torah? Work hard and show me. But don't worry. When you work hard, you're going to get extra schar for that work. That's the schar you're going to get in this world and the next world. Zog de Zera Shimshon, let's go back. V'oid, one last point. Lohoidia, sheshvirus haluchos hoya toivosam shal Yisrael. Also, another reason that Moshe Rabbeinu became wealthy from the luchos shnias, one reason was, we said, because he wanted, the Eibishter Dafka wanted people to know that Moshe Rabbeinu became an Asher because he was oisik b'tzorchei tzibur, like we said in the beginning. That's one reason. There's another reason, Dafka from the luchos shnias. Yavai haben v'yoymar, you broke the luchos. You caused Klal Yisrael to have to learn Torah in such a way. What did you do? You ruined it for them. Listen to Zera Shimshon. Zogte k'moish amar b'shmais rabba. Mutav tidon kipnuya. If a husband, a man, is married to a woman and she lives with another man, she can't go back to her husband. She can't go back to her husband. If there's a shtar that says that the Eibishter and Klal Yisrael are married, and this is the deal, and this is the luchos, and we cholila sin, no backsies. You know what Moshe Rabbeinu does? He breaks the luchos. We're not married. Where's the shtar? We're a pnuya. Stam made a mistake. Stam a foolish girl. But we're not an Eishes Ish Sorcha. Says the Zera Shimshon, the Medrash teaches us that there was the best thing. Yasher koyach sheshivarta lechol hayoda chazaka. That's the last thing it says about Moshe Rabbeinu in the Torah Kedosha. Ulechol hayoda chazaka. You were willing to take one for the team in the biggest way. You decided on your own. You decided on your own that I'm going to break the luchos so that they shouldn't be punished. Zok de Zera Shimshon, v'hu leichota klal b'shvirosen. Adarabba. Iskim HaKadosh Baruch Hu imay. Kidama yafeh koicha. Yasher koichach, yasher koyach. The first, you know where yasher koyach comes from? The Eibishter told Moshe yasher koyach. Yasher koichacha. You're right. I'm happy you broke it. You know why? You broke the Torah. And Klal Yisrael stayed. Tanu de Be'elayo was once asked. Rebbe, the Eibishter loves the Torah. The Eibishter loves the Torah. The Eibishter loves Klal Yisrael. Who does he love more? He loves the Torah and he loves Klal Yisrael. Eliyahu HaNavi gesagt, Bini. Steht in the Torah, Mechalaleo mois yumas. If you're Mechalal Shabbos, mois yumas. Aber if a Yid's neshama, if he has a sakana, the mitzvah is break Shabbos and save his life. You know what's more important? The Yidden are more important. So Moshe Rabbeinu tzabrechen the Torah. Let him break the luchas. This way Klal Yisrael will survive. I want Moshe to become filthy rich. Chulila. So rich. From what? Dafka from the luchas shniyas. Dafka from the second luchas. Because I want to send a message. You shouldn't think for a second that Moshe Rabbeinu was at fault for breaking those luchas. Adarabba. You know the Eibishter, there's nothing that the Eibishter loves more in the world than B'ni B'chayri Yisrael. Everything was made for us. And when it comes to have to save a life or desecrate the Shabbos, it's not a shaila. You save the life and you're mechal the Shabbos. And it's nishkein chilul Shabbos. It's a mitzvah of Shabbos. The kedei sheyedu hakol shezeh ha'oisher bo b'shvil shenesasik b'tzorcheyim Yisrael. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu become an oisher? What was his chus for Ashirus? Not the Torah that he learned, but the Asik and Klal Yisrael to take care of them. Kedei sheyilmedu kol ha'oiskim im hatzibur. If anybody ever is involved in a tzibur, kol ha'oisik im hatzibur, lis asik imam l'shem shamayim. Do it for the right reason. Do it for Klal Yisrael. Do it to bring out Kvod Hashem. And then you'll be chal ala brachas. The Yetzer Hara is going to tell you, do it for your oisher, for your kavod, for the respect. Zug the Yetzer Hara, nein, I'm not going to be oisik in Sarchet Tzibur for anything else other than the Eibishter. That's the Zeiche sein to the Ashiris from Moshe Rabbeinu. And that's why Dafka, from the second set of Luchais, that's Dafka from there, the Eibishter Gewalt as alle sollen wissen. Everyone should know, because he broke the first ones, stuck his neck out for Klal Yisrael as he did from the first day he left the palace. That's why he was Zeicha to be not just the leader of Klal Yisrael, but the wealthy leader who was Mashpia to Ala Yidin. Why? For one reason, because he loved them. Reb Chananya ben Akasha,